Hot takes, lived experiences, truly entertainment.
Part two.
Part two, we're back.
All right. So we're here today with Jordan Basham with Where to Go 225.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back.
What's
Part
going
two,
on?
like we said.
Part two, that's right. Take two.
Take two. We're doing it again. I'm super excited to be back. Last time we kind of chatted a little, but today we get to probably dive in a little deeper to a bunch of different things. And obviously, you have so much going on your side that I have questions for. This is gonna be like a double interview.
I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. So what's been going on with you?
I am just busy, and I know that's so cheesy to say, but in October, I decided to take my influencing and turn it into helping people with their social medias. I was running through this social media journey that I've been on the last 5 or 6 years, running my own influencing page. I've run into a lot of business owners that just needed help bigger with social media, other than working with influencers. So we were able to really turn that into, I was able to turn that into a business. And so we have, I think October is now almost 7 months. So we have about 25 clients on our roster right now that we're helping with their social media. And that means running their Instagram, Facebooks, helping them plan campaigns, running paid ads, and all the kind of things that come outside of that, helping plan events and whatever they might need, just trying to help these smaller Baton Rouge businesses get a grasp on their marketing. So we started that 7 months ago, and it's been crazy.
Have you developed any friendships with some of these local restaurants?
Absolutely.
Or businesses in general?
The hardest thing for me is that I make friends with everybody, I feel like. So I've always said, I only do business with the people I want to do business with, and usually it's the people that I form friendships with. Okay. So through influencing, obviously I've worked with a lot of restaurants and I've worked with a lot of businesses in Baton Rouge, and naturally those relationships just grow. About 2 years ago, I kind of quietly started doing social media for some businesses. And literally I started it because one of the person that was doing my skincare, my esthetician, she was like, Jordan, please just do my social media for me so I don't have to do it.
There you go.
And so after months of her begging me, I finally was like, all right, I can't promise it's going to be good. I don't know if it's something I want to do or whatever. That was just a friendship that we had formed naturally and organically. And then that's kind of how it's transpired into what I'm doing now. Obviously, now that we have a public business, we get a lot of, we're kind of on the weird, it's such a first world problem. We don't have to cold call anybody. The calls come to us. So we've never been in a situation where we have to we need to go scour business and all that. We get weekly inquiries. So we are in a unique position where people we've never heard of are finding out about us and what we're doing, especially because I feel like we are definitely more affordable social media. I came from traditional marketing backgrounds, and for the longest time, it costs an arm and a leg to do social media, and I get why, but also these small businesses can't afford it. To answer your question, all these people I work with, I try to be as, they're usually friendships that have been forged, but also I'm meeting a lot of new people every single day. So it's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Does it feel like it's already been 7 months, or is it just going by so fast?
It's been the longest 7 months of my life. I feel like it's a lifetime because it's wild. Last week feels like such a daydream.
Yeah.
And I was so busy. Whenever I started in October, I quickly launched my brand. I already had a logo, thank goodness, and I already knew what I was going to do. But I started it under the assumption that I would have time. So I was like, all right, I'm already doing 3 or 4 people's social media. I'm going to launch this, and maybe somebody might see it, maybe somebody might not. And then I had it about 2 days probably, and then 225 Magazine, Business Report, The Advocate, and somebody else picked it up, and they all put out articles suddenly, and it was so crazy because I wasn't expecting that. And as soon as they launched the articles, the SEO on my website just skyrocketed, and the website had only been live for 2 days. And so immediately it was all gas and no brakes, and so people were reaching out nonstop. So it's such a first world problem because normally we talk to business owners, and I'm really great friends with a lot of marketing professionals in Baton Rouge, and so many people have the opposite where you start a business and you're you and I were talking about how do you get sponsors, how do you get money to start a business without putting your child's food as an afterthought, and it's so scary starting a business, but I'm truly in a unique position where we just have to we get to be selective of who we work with.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Where did the name come from? Where to go 225?
It's so cheesy. It's so silly. So just to give a little backstory. So my husband and I, we've been together since high school. And when we first like moved out of our house and all that, and went to college and all that, we honestly were Baton Rouge haters. Mm-hmm. So we were just like, oh, we can't wait to get out of this city, and Baton Rouge is so terrible, and yada yada yada. And we ran our mouth a lot about like how terrible the city was. And this was about 10 years ago. And so whenever we graduated college, the first thing we did was move to Houston and Dallas. So we got out of the city for about 2 years. And we kind of had a rude awakening of like, whenever you move to a big city, like there's nobody, especially when you don't have family and friends there, there's nobody there to hold your hand and be like, hey, this is the Mexican spot to go to, or yada, yada, yada. So we had to get on social media to find where to go. Right.
Yeah.
So we went around the city, got to discover all the new places and all that. And then whenever we made the decision to move back to Baton Rouge, we had family members that were sick. And so we were like, okay, we got to go back to Baton Rouge, handle business. Whenever we moved back, we were like, okay, if we're going to move back in Baton Rouge, we can't talk shit about the city that we live in.
Yeah.
You can't be a part of the problem, right? So you have to be a solution if you're going to live there, like own up to what you're doing. So we were like, okay, when we move back, we're not going to go to the same places that we went. We're not going to go to the same Mexican restaurant we always went to, or the same sushi spot. We're going to make it, every time we do date night, we're going to go somewhere new. Mm-hmm. So we really made it our mission to do that. And in that process, you forget, like, the biggest struggle is whenever you love food, you're like, oh man, where did I get that really good cheese board at that had that really good mojito, blah, blah, blah. And it's so hard to remember those things. So I was just like, oh my God, we should just start an Instagram so we can remember. And so as I say my husband's really just like my moral support. He's like, I'll just go eat wherever and then you do pictures. And so whenever I was just trying to think of the name, I was like, well, where should we go, like, tonight for dinner? And then that was it.
Come on.
That was it.
So it just happened organically like that?
So organically. No ChatGPT was around to help me or anything like that. And it was cheesy and it felt good. But I also started that Instagram with the no intent of anybody ever finding it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what hashtags were on Instagram or anything like that. So really, truly, I just started posting photos with bad filters selfishly so I could know what the cheese board with the good mojito was or whatever. Nice. And then after, I don't know how it happened, but slowly, like after a few weeks, like, oh, this person started following me. And then, another person followed. And like, I remember my first month, like, I had like 3 followers. And I was like, what is this? I have 3 followers? And
Watch
I
out.
was like, oh, this is crazy. And then, I don't know, people started finding it. And then I think we were right around the COVID time. And more people were looking where to go to support their businesses. Yep. And then that's how my profile got found. And then since then, I've never looked back.
I feel like the town of Baton Rouge is doing like a lot of different things in the background. I don't think like the average person knows what's going on. Like Baton Rouge is like about to pop.
And well, that's what people always say, it's about to pop. But honestly, like since my husband and I moved to Houston and Dallas, mm-hmm. Baton Rouge really, yes, we are behind, but we are a smaller city. So you're comparing apples to elephants, right? Yeah. But no Baton Rouge really has come so long. Like when we were gone for 2 years, Government Street was flipped upside down. Mm-hmm. Government Street didn't have all these big restaurants and stuff like this. And like when we came back in 2020 or maybe 2019, things were just like, we had a White Star Market all of a sudden. And like the concept of having a market that you and your family could walk into and everybody order their own food that they want was a wild concept. But in Houston and Dallas, that's
normal. It's
that's basic. Yeah. So it's so interesting. So people always say that Baton Rouge is behind or Baton Rouge is yada yada yada. We're just a smaller city with smaller resources, but we are coming up, mm-hmm. and like we are getting so many cool things. And like it goes back to the people talk shit about Baton Rouge, like, don't live here if you're going to talk shit about it. But also, if you're going to live here, like let's do something to make it better.
Yeah, I find it, helping your local area brings up everything.
Yeah, well, and that's something you do so well too. You work with so many local brands, and obviously, like you and I both know jointly, like Meredith, mm-hmm. and Meredith has been a huge part to like supporting local. And I think she probably started the phrase, was it local love or?
I can't remember. I know what you're talking about.
Like, I feel like she started something with just like really amplifying, especially it was like boutiques, but like starting that local love, like, hey, support small businesses, different things like that. And now other people, like the average consumer, you and I, are doing that more. Because now if I can go to somewhere here, right, like if I know I need to go get a gift for somebody for their birthday, I really try to avoid Amazon, and I really try. I mean, hey, shout out Amazon if you want to sponsor us. It's not.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't hate on Amazon, but we really try to think first. Okay, what's near me in a 5-mile radius that I can go run and buy this gift for? And I mean, you and I know, like whenever you support local, you're not contributing to somebody's third mansion. You're supporting my kids' education and putting bologna sandwiches on my kids' plate.
That's right.
And so supporting local is so important. And Baton Rouge is finally getting it. Like it's not that they haven't always gotten it, but we're getting it now. Like I just feel like it's more prevalent than ever.
Yeah. Like I said, I find that there's a lot more things happening in the background. I think that the average person in Baton Rouge or even the surrounding areas don't quite know things that are going. And look, all Baton Rouge is it's a city, but it doesn't feel like it. It almost feels like one of these rural, like little small towns.
It does,
because once you kind of get to know some people that are more prominent, I guess, that know people, the group is actually way smaller than you think.
Well, and I always tell people in Baton Rouge, do not burn a bridge, because Baton Rouge is so small. Even though we have 225,000 plus people, the worst thing you can do in the city is burn bridges, because everybody knows everybody. And I think back to when I was 16 and I worked at Raising Cane's as like a cashier fry cook, and then I was with the company for a very long time, for about 8 years, and that's why I moved to Dallas also, is because I went to the corporate office there. But they years later, so I guess maybe 5 or 6 years after I left Raising Cane's, I went and I started working at a law firm in Baton Rouge, and I didn't even list like the HR person from Cane's, because I was just like, she has millions and millions of people that she is the HR for, like in corporate. So I listed my references as like managers that I worked with, stuff like that. Well, whenever I went to work at the marketing firm, literally they saw that I had worked at Raising Cane's first, and the first thing they did is went to that HR person at corporate to get the inside scoop on me. And it's just so interesting, because even if you don't list somebody as a reference, people are going to ask questions. People are going to ask around, and people are always going to know, okay, well, like, what is Corey doing? Like, who does he know? And like, then you start going down to Facebook, and people say they don't look at your social medias before they hire you. They absolutely do.
Yes.
I like to know what's going on, but I also like to know, like, I mean, even when I work with businesses, I really try to go, like, if a CEO or a president of a company reaches out to me, I go look at what they're posting on social media, because I want to make sure we align. Like, I will not, I really try to not to make it political or anything like that. I just really try to align myself with people that have the same values that I do.
Sure. Yeah.
And you can tell really quickly if people do on social media, because social media is everybody's on social media now. And it's almost weird if somebody's not on social media, you're like, what are you hiding?
Yeah. Why are you off the grid?
Are you a serial killer?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I know.
Let me know.
All I'm thinking about is Ted Bundy.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, and that's, there's so many crazy cases out there. I'm kind of a true crime junkie girl a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, also in this light that I have created for myself, it's such a first world problem. And this is something, for you and other business owners speak to this. Everybody in Baton Rouge knows you. And even if you walk into a room, you might not know people know you.
Sure.
And it's like, for me, I have very defining tattoos, and I'm a very public figure now. And like, I think last time you and I talked, like, I can't even go to the grocery store without putting on eyebrows. And like, that's so silly. But like, it's, everybody knows my business. And like, I mean, I've had people figure out where I live.
That's
and like,
not cool.
I had to
Listeners,
get cameras at my house.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. But yeah, you just have to be very aware of what your social presence is. And, you attract the people that want to work with you. And so like, if you are posting crazy stuff, like maybe that's why you're not getting business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I definitely think having an alignment and making sure that your values align with it, with different business owners, different people that you want to surround yourself with. And at the end of the day, me and my wife actually talked about this on our first podcast. And you are who you hang around.
Yeah, 1,000%. And like I always tell people, especially in this political landscape, that just because somebody is X and somebody is Y doesn't mean you can't work together. It's all about how that person treats people. And for me, like, I have a ton of Republican friends. I have a ton of Democrat, blah 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 blah. I have to. I'm a business professional at the end of the day. But if you are truly a mean person and posting crazy things and posting hatred, like, that's something I don't stand for.
Right.
But you have to be very careful. But you can be professional in this world, but also there's a line.
Oh, for sure. There's always a line. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's can you give us a little upcoming things that you got going on?
Gosh, I don't even know. I like next week everything can change. I'm in a really, really great period of my business where business is booming. We, are finally in a really great cycle where we feel like everybody, sometimes when you start a business and you're doing all the things, it just feels like you kind of are losing control of different things, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, am I dropping a bunch of balls? And like, that's so hard especially in the social media world. Is I talk to a lot of business owners, and everybody's just like, man, you feel like you're dropping all the balls this week too? Because like, I feel like I can't get out from underneath the water. Like, I feel like I'm drowning. And I finally, in the last 2 months, I was trying to go balls to the walls and just do all the things and say yes to everything and try to make everybody else happy and try to make sure that all my employees were taken care of. And at the end of the day, I was the one kind of suffering. And so the last 2 months, I've kind of peeled back and I was like, okay, what does Jordan need? Jordan needs sleep. Jordan needs to not be like stressing all the time. And so I really peeled back and just kind of made sure like, okay, I don't need to say yes to everything. And I don't need every day doesn't need to have 8 meetings in it. And so I finally have gotten control of my schedule. I'm in the process of hiring a virtual assistant just to help me out because, again, you and I were talking before this, I get 100 text messages probably in a day of just people texting me about all these different things. And that's just not a lifestyle I want to live anymore. Yeah. So for me, I'm really I'm leaning heavily into getting control of my schedule, but also like doing the things that make me happy. Like I don't need to say yes to everything.
Yeah. I think so.
Saying no is such a great sentence.
Yeah, Meredith was talking about that. For those of you who don't know, Meredith is the owner of Sweet Baton Rouge, and she was talking about how she's had to come to terms of like being able to grasp the word no, and I've actually heard that from another person that I know from Centerville, the little town that I'm from. So he was talking about the same thing where you kind of have to say no and understand why, and you have to take care of yourself.
Well, it's so hard because you don't want to disappoint. Don't want to disappoint people. And my hardest position is somebody comes to me, they tell me their story, and I'm like, oh, I know how to fix this. I'm a fixer. I want to fix everything. I want to help everybody. But like sometimes that's not my position. But also, I have coined something truly special in the social media world, where it's, I do, like I said, I get a lot of inquiries, and like I don't charge for the inquiries that I do. And I'll go to these meetings with people and I'm like, oh my God, where's our whiteboard? How do we make your business plan right now? And I'm like, wait, why am I giving away everything for free in a way? But I'm also, I've never been that person that's been like so money thirsty where I'm just like, oh, I need to make a dime off of every single idea that I do. But I'm also like, I do need to learn how to be more, I guess, aware of like how I'm helping people, because the things that I do bring to the table are really important. But like if somebody has a business and they don't have a business plan, I'm like, that's day one.
Currently us. We're trying to figure it out.
But also, like you're trying to figure it out, but that is kind of your business plan of like, okay, we want to do a podcast and we want to do X, Y, and Z, and we want to, have X sponsors. That is a business plan. It's just a loose business plan. Yeah. You at least have an idea, but sometimes we truly will have meetings with people and they're like, yeah, we've been doing business this way for 10 years, but we're throwing it all out the window. And, we kind of think we want to do this, but then they truly spiral. And I'm like, okay, well, like, how are you going to make money to pay your bills to do your dream? Yeah. And they're like, we don't know. I'm like, well, that's the first thing we need to figure out is how are you going to pay your 9 to 5 bills, and then go from there.
I find like if you just like simplify most things in life, it is that simple. Yeah. Just figure out, okay, well, one thing at a time. Let's go figure out how to fix that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just take that approach, and it took me a while to understand that. Like last year, at some point, I really started thinking outside the box, not just like I'm on my phone scrolling and having other people's ideas, but like actually critically think independently. Yeah. And man, that opened my eyes up so big. I feel like a lot of people like just, I do it all the time. Doom scroll, but also, so many people, I talk to people and they're always like, especially with social media, they're like, oh, I don't know what ideas to do. If I do this, am I ripping this person? Like if I'm a bakery and this other bakery in town does X, Y, and Z, like, and if I do it, am I copying them? Nobody's copying anybody unless it's truly a unique concept and that person has trademarked it, good for them. But like none of us are creating new ideas where there's no fault in you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. I love that saying. Don't reinvent the wheel. So like if you, you're a small business and you're looking just to get on social media, go see what people in your business are doing.
if they, like for me in social media, there's a ton of my social media competitor. I don't even want to say competitors, especially in Baton Rouge, because we all give each other business when we're too busy. But social media businesses in other cities, let's just say Houston and Dallas, those businesses are doing podcasts, putting themselves on camera and doing all this stuff. And I don't do that. Like, I mean, I show myself in photos and stuff like that, but I hate my voice. I hate me being on camera, the things like that. I'm on camera too much these days. So like, for me, I'm like, okay, I don't need to go do that. That's another avenue of like, why would I put stress on myself to do it?
Yeah.
But then there is a difference of like, are you doing it because you truly don't like to do it? Or are you doing it because like it's out of your comfort zone? And like, for me, like I think about voice reels. Voice reels 2 years ago, I didn't do. It was like, I'm never going to do that. Well, guess what? Now, like, we go back to, when I first started my Instagram and I got 3 new followers in a month. I get that in the first 5 minutes of the day. Mm-hmm. And so, like, my following is always growing because, like, I'm pushing new boundaries. And, like, now voiceover reels in Baton Rouge are the biggest thing that I do. And that's how I get the most traction. But that's also how I reach a whole new clientele or just new viewers and all that. So you can't put yourself in a box of saying, I will never try this. I've tried doing the voiceovers. Like when I first started 2 years ago, I kind of dabbled in it and I was like, I'll never do this again. No. And here I am doing them like it's nothing.
Yeah.
So you can't say that you won't do something, but also like for me, I really don't like seeing myself on camera too much. If I'm filming it myself and so I'm like, like maybe I won't do that. But next year, look, it might change.
Yeah. You got to be I feel like you always have to be open.
You have to be open, but also it's okay to have boundaries. But, look, money talks sometimes. Amazon wants to drop $1 million to have my face on it. Let's go. Let's go.
Put that out there again.
Yeah, please. But yeah, you always have to be willing to try, and it's okay. And if you don't like it, is what it is. But also, you in today's ever-changing world of social media and business in general, you never know.
Yeah, in life, I say this quite a good bit. In life, I feel like you only get about 3 to 4 things that come up in your life where you just can't not do it. You have to do it and you have to go see through it. And that was kind of what I wanted to do for the podcast is like, I just knew like at the end of the day, like I said earlier, simplify it. It is really at the end of the day, you're talking to someone. And I love that. Yeah, it's a little bit hard. I had to go through some trials and tribulations about figuring out how to do a podcast, equipment, camera. I still love it.
Yep.
And if anything never comes to it, I'll still be happy.
You still had fun. You still got to make connections.
Yeah.
But like for you, like I'm telling you, the best thing not the best thing, because sometimes it's cringe, but I'll look back 7 years ago of what my first Instagram photo looked like, and it's so bad. But then like now I've come such a long way. So it's, whenever 2 years from now, you're going to look back at the podcast that you produced and you're like, what camera were we shooting on?
Yeah.
We're holding microphones in this podcast. It's just so different. But that's where like before this, I still talked about like I went through a drastic weight loss and like I don't recognize myself from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because like when you're in the middle of something, you especially, body dysmorphia is so powerful right now and stuff like that. You don't recognize yourself in the moment, but then when you remove yourself from it 2 years later, you're like, wow, that's what I looked like. That's what I did. Like, it's just crazy. And so you really have to, give yourself grace too, because we're all just learning.
Do you find yourself ever thinking about like or not even, I don't even know if that's the right way to put it. Do you ever find yourself looking back or staying in the moment to realize, hey, I'm in the journey? And do you ever think about like appreciating the journey, or like
I always think is the grass greener, or like I always tell people, because like I'm a very reflective person, and I always tell people like the grass is not always greener on the other side. And I feel like my grass is green right now. And so like I could go back to it, like while I'm in the thick of it and I'm working late nights, and there's been weeks, especially not in this month. This month I've been really good. So that's why I'm like, the grass is green right now. The grass was like burnt 2 months ago. The grass was on fire and it was not a good time. But then also, there's a really good quote where it's, I used to dream about being in this position, and I used to wish and pray and do all the things to be in this position that I'm in now.
And then you are.
And then I am.
Yeah. So
like I can't be ungrateful. But there is a difference. Like people think that because you're in a good position, you can't bitch about things and you can't complain. You absolutely can.
Hell yeah.
And that's where I found my village of like, I have so many great other social media marketing managers that are in Baton Rouge that I lean on, but also like we're all going through the same thing. Like, especially like whenever we talk about like Do you feel like you're underwater? Do you feel like, things don't have meaning? Do you feel like, are you, when you have a job and it's not fulfilling and it's like, okay, am I just coasting by? Like, I remember being in a job where my boss really didn't pay attention to what I did. And I was like, man, I'm just kind of coasting. Like, I'm bored. And I'm like, man, I look back to that and I'm like, what is that like? Like, that was so easy. But you have to recognize whenever you have it good, and I have it good right now.
So working with a lot of prominent people in Baton Rouge, have you met someone like kind of famous?
I mean,
and were you starstruck?
I'm trying to think of like in Baton Rouge, in general. Like, I mean, like I grew like when I worked at Cane's when I was 16, and I was there for 8 years. I worked with Todd. Like, I didn't work with him. Like, he was not in the restaurant. But like when I started at Cane's, I was working at the 4th location ever, and then I was working at maybe the 20th or 30th location ever. Like, timestamp. Like, that's aging me because Cane's has over, I think, 1,000 locations now.
Isn't that crazy?
We didn't have cameras in the restaurant then, so it was crazy. But so, it was nothing for Todd Graves to walk in and grab a loaf of bread and be like, oh, I'm going to my barbecue pit and let me grab a loaf of, that was nothing. Yeah. So, but then he's such a celebrity now, but it's crazy to think back to him in camo shorts just chilling.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. Like, I mean, as I've grown, I've just been in spaces. I'm like, how are you in this space? Like, it's really weird.
Taking it all in.
Taking it all in, and like, it's almost weird because whenever I walk into a space now, and like, I hate to even say that, like, I'm a small town celebrity, but like, people know me, and like,
I know a lot of people that know your page. I don't know if they know who you are. They know of that page. My husband calls me, he's like mayor of Flavortown, because like it's so bad because like my husband, and you and I had talked about this before too, where, my husband and I don't go on date nights anymore necessarily in Baton Rouge. Like, we don't go out usually on like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because we walk into a restaurant, we know 10 people there. Sure.
And then everybody wants to talk, and I love talking to people. And I, whenever there's an opportunity in the room, somebody says something, I'm going to talk to that person and also give people the respect. But sometimes when it's you and your significant other and you just want to chat and yap with each other and see each other, especially if you haven't seen each other all week, that's no longer a possibility. So if we want date night, we stay at home. Yeah. And that has probably been the hardest thing, especially because my husband stays out of the spotlight. Like, this has probably been the hardest thing is he might be in 2 videos, maybe on my page. So if you know my husband, you know him by like us personally kind of thing. And like, he's been in spots, like he would go run a bakery errand for me or something like that. And like, literally somebody would be like, are you where to go 225's husband? And he's like, oh, hell no.
How do they know me?
How do they know? And he hates it. Like, he's not a spotlight guy. And it just makes him uncomfy because then it's, again, you walk in a room, you don't know anybody, but people know you. Mm-hmm. So it's hard navigating sometimes. And I'm sure you and Haley probably find that more and more you go out, people start recognizing you, and then people want to yap.
Yeah, I think the most that I'm recognized on is Mirror this like reels now.
The reels, and you're modeling though. Y'all are model, and like
hashtag dad bod model.
Well, I mean, y'all are parents, and my husband and I are not parents. But like, what if people start recognizing your kids? I mean, there's so many scary stories out there right now, especially with social media people and like things that are happening in their personal lives. Like, they just had a social media influencer whose child died in a drowning.
Oh, and wow.
It's so sad. It was like, but now their whole life is put on blast for that.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And it's so scary. And so it's like, you as a parent, like, how do you protect your 2-year-old's right to privacy? And, and there's so many scary things.
Yeah, me and the wife have mixed signals about that. My daughter, actually, before I came here, she actually told me she wanted to be on the podcast. My wife was like, we can do like a 5-minute one. I don't care.
You can do a 5-minute one, but it's all about like, I think that there's a fine line of like, you can show your kid, but then there's parents that have just ruined it where they're just like, the dance moms and things like that, where it's like, you are subjecting your child to things that, sure, they might make money off of it, but like, are they going to be embarrassed when if my parent ever put a video of me between the ages of like 2 and even like 18, I'm like, I hope none of the old Jordan ever see the light of day, because I was a 2nd degree black belt, and I was a nerdy little kid, and not that being a nerd's bad or anything like that. I just like was a whole different human being, and like going through puberty and all the things like that it's terrifying. It sucks. It's not great.
Yeah, I'm like thinking back of like the cold water bucket challenge.
Yeah.
Where we all just put the whole, like, what was that about? I don't even know, but you know what? Did it anyway. The video's out there, probably somewhere out in the internet.
I don't even I try not to even joke about like because I was a MySpace girly, so that's when like people first really started taking selfies and
Yeah.
like I mean I just did not know how to do makeup or anything like that.
Hashtag nostalgic.
Ew, it's so bad. I think back to like the way I dressed and all that, and it had no. And maybe in 10 years I'm gonna look back and be like, Jordan, what were you wearing at that podcast today? It's just so different. But also, social media, there's everything is so. It's just different than it was when we were kids growing up. Like
It's ever changing. I feel like I feel like I've mastered something on like Instagram or Facebook, and then like 3 months from now I'm like, wait, how did I do that again? Wait, where's the button?
I used to be able to hard code MySpace, and now I'm like, what? Like I make a joke all the time. Or not all the time. I don't want to. I make jokes all the time. I'm like, is this me getting old? Like I can't figure this system out. Or somebody will show me a feature on the iPhone where I taught a friend the other day. I was like, yeah, if you just copy and paste from your iPhone and then you go to your laptop and you hit paste on your laptop, it automatically copies what was ever on your iPhone to your laptop. And they were like, what?
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
You literally, your iPhone and your laptop are synced if you have Apple, and
Okay.
literally anything you do on your iPhone, you can like copy, paste, save, boop, it moves
That's
over.
easy. Huh.
It's easy, but like Jordan, when I found that out 3 months ago, was like, what?
Oh, I don't even want to say this. It took me forever to figure out like you can have multiple backgrounds, and you can just change the multiple backgrounds and not have to pick another background.
Wait, for
I got-
what?
Your phone.
So like every time you swipe, see, okay, a new thing.
So like.
Welcome to the boomer, welcome to the young kids that are now boomers podcast.
Let's see. I think I did it right here. I can't. I'm on the spotlight. I can't do it right now.
No, but you can do it.
but,
To your point. There's so many things that we don't learn, and like
Yeah.
whenever we were younger, like I was so cocky. I was like, I can code MySpace, I can figure out any problem, and now I'm like, help desk, help me,
Help desk.
help me.
help!
Like-
I'm falling. I can't get up.
Literally, I'm one step away from needing a Life Alert already. What a good marketing product, also. Life Alert, sponsor us.
Yeah. Another one right there. Yeah, shout out.
But yeah. So, and do you and Haley find that as a thing where like you go to restaurants or like your date night has been interfered yet?
It not in the same sense as being as more noticeably known. It's more like since we've been in Denham,
Yeah.
we've just started knowing people.
Yep.
And my wife always tells me I can talk to a brick wall, and literally that's me. I'll be out on my own, and I'll just like randomly say, "Hey, I like your shirt," and then
And you just start a whole 30-minute and it's so hard because like that's where for my husband, I don't want to speak for him, but when we are actively being on date night somewhere and somebody we do talk, I'm stuck in this in between of like trying to make sure that this person, I hear them and talk to them and like all that stuff, but then also like my husband's my number one person in my life, so like he doesn't like that, so like
Yeah.
not that he doesn't like me talking, he just wants to be able to hang out with me like we used to be able to.
Yeah.
Times have changed. But also, you know what pays the bills, baby.
yeah. There's no doubt.
You got it, especially in Baton Rouge. You never know when you're gonna walk in a room and like, is there a Todd Graves? Is there a Gordon McKernan? Is there a somebody that you need to speak to? Like, there's a difference of like, what environment are you into? Because like, if you're in a casual setting, it's a little bit easier to have those conversations. But then, you're never gonna go up to somebody and they're dining. But I'm always just hyper aware of, because I'm a loose cannon. Whatever I say it with my chest. I'm like, that is what I believe.
Said it with my chest.
I said it with my chest. But then, whenever I'm in a room yapping with my friends, like, if somebody overhears what they hear, you heard
It
it.
is what it is. Yeah.
If I'm dumb enough to say it in public,
Yeah.
or if not even dumb enough, I'm one of those people, and this is where I've had to teach my interns of like, don't burn bridges, be aware of who's in the room whenever you say things, because you just never know how far things are going to travel, and you just have to always be aware. And you could say one thing while you're drinking or whatever, and that one thing can change something.
Yeah, that's the internet and social media is fantastic,
But it's also terrible.
but at the same time, in an instance, something can change.
Oh, well, I think about
Just-
cancel culture all the time,
Well,
right?
just look at that CEO
Oh, it's
with that
so
affair.
good.
With that affair.
It's so good. It's so bad. But I feel terrible for the wife. But I'm so glad that she.
Well, she
for
at
those
least knows now.
for those of you that don't know, there was a Coldplay concert, and there was the kissing cam going around, and two people were hugging that should not have been hugging,
should not have been.
and they made it very obvious because one ducked down and one turned hiding. And it's a whole thing now, but that's where cancel culture is so scary. But also, I always, I try to make sure I'm not doing something that would get me
Yeah,
canceled. Like,
sure.
I believe in being a good person. I believe in treating people with all the respect, and doing good to people. But I made a post the other day, and this is probably the first time I've ever found myself in like warm water, because I am lucky in the fact that I don't get hate comments. I don't get, I kind of stay in my lane, and I don't post food reviews that are like, well, this food's a scale of 8 to 10 or whatever. I know I post a thing and I'm like, hey, like, here's this taco at this restaurant, go get it or don't. Like,
Yeah.
I keep my opinions very to myself, but I want more like to be able to just tell people that this thing exists. Well, I made a post the other day regarding a new coffee shop in Baton Rouge. Have you seen this yet?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. So I made a post about a coffee shop, brand new, and it happened to open 3 doors down from another coffee shop. Well, again, it's kind of 2 different coffee concepts or whatever, but long story short, my comment section has been on fire for the last like 2 weeks. And I know that I've made it
In a
because
good way or a bad way?
both.
Okay.
So I know I finally made it because I made it to Tiger Droppings.
Oh yeah, come on, yeah.
Well, my
that's
video made it to Tiger Droppings.
Everyone's local
local.
source of drama.
It was literally the 2 coffee shops. The 2 coffee shops employees were fighting in my comments because it was, one was like, well, this one's been here for 30 years, and then this one has well, this one's new and like it's gonna hit a different demographic. And I'm like, hey, at the end of the day, like, I'm just here to tell you like where to go, and like you like if you want to. And they were like, it's your duty as a public figure to dissuade people from going. I'm like, no, that's actually not my position.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, you're paid for this. It's so obvious that you're paid for this. Actually, my credit card says different. My credit card says that I went and bought coffee. Those people have no idea who I am. Yada yada yada. So it was the first time that I ever got myself in water where I had a few people questioning me, but I'm also like, I'm gonna fire back. Like, fire back. I'm not doing anything crazy, but I'm like, if you're gonna make a charge at me, I'm gonna make it back. And it's so scary because I was like, should I stop responding? Do I delete comments? Do I hide comments? And Instagram has this feature where it automatically hides comments, and I was having to go through and like pull comments to make sure they were being shown, because I was like, hey, like, it's great that y'all are spreading information. I love open dialogue. You won't personally attack me, but like, have conversation in my comments. I'm okay with that. But I was like, is the coffee shop about to be the reason they get canceled? Because I'm a little coffee shop girly. Like, I go to them all.
Yeah.
And, I'm not like loyal to one. I'm loyal to all. So you just never know when you're going to say, what you're going to post, when it's going to be the wrong move.
Yeah, that's.
But what do you do? What do you do when it happens?
I don't even know.
You own up to
Yeah.
it. You say, hey, I'm like, if it is something you need to apologize for, like, you apologize for. Like the CEO that we just talked about that got busted for cheating on his wife, he put out the worst PR statement I've ever seen.
I read it this morning.
Terrible. Like,
Yeah,
he was
that's
basically
not-
like, it's the singer
what
of
it
Coldplay.
is.
Like, he said it was the singer of Coldplay's fault for outing them, basically. And then he ended the PR statement with a Coldplay lyric. And I'm like, brother, you're a $1 billion company. You didn't think to console anybody?
Yeah. Then I'm thinking, okay, well, he probably wrote it himself and didn't have anybody else.
He did
write
not.
it.
Well, and your arms were around her. Like,
Yeah.
her arms weren't around you. And so, yeah, the audacity. I really there's been a lot of audacity lately, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out where I need to buy some, because
Buy some.
everybody's buying it. It must be on clearance or something this week, because there's just so many things that have happened in pop culture, and even in Baton Rouge, there's been some stuff going on, and I'm like, damn, am I doing something wrong? Do I need to go buy some? Because it's the audacity. It's crazy.
It is. Yeah. So at this time, I want to say a little shout out to our sponsor.
Yes, we
Yeah.
got some cooking to do, right?
Yeah, Sweet Heat for Your Meat. We have it right here. and this is actually for you. So
Slay.
yeah, so you can find them on at sweetheatforyourmeat.com. They'll have a list of all the locations. They are in half of the Rouse's. I think Rouse's has like 66 stores. I think they're in like 38 of them.
Sweet heat for your meat.
Yep.
Low sodium.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot less sodium. We personally like it on chicken a lot. It's a great dry rub. I mean, you can literally put it on anything. We like it on green beans a lot.
Oh, that's smart.
Oh yeah, and it's less sodium, so it's a little bit better for you in the long run. Obviously, we live in Louisiana, so we can't avoid all of it.
I appreciate the name for it. The name is great.
Yep.
We'll have to go cook something.
Yeah. So guys, get your sweet heat for your meat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know we're like running low on time, but like, do you have any other questions for me?
Let's see.
Anything I'm an open book, so I really try to.
Let's do. We have the upcoming football season for LSU.
Oof.
We're in River City.
I'm a warning right now. I'm not a sports ball girl, so I'm gonna try my best.
What are you most excited for the upcoming football season? Is it tailgating? Is it being around friends? Is it seeing some people that you haven't seen in a while? Is it the food?
So for me, okay, I'm not a sports ball girl, but I do obviously we watch every LSU football game and all that. And my favorite thing, I used to be a tailgate girl until I really truly kind of turned introvert. And so my favorite thing is just honestly like we will go find a local restaurant that's doing like some kind of catering special. Smoke Bayou, some of the best barbecue you can get in the city. Always does like something special like ribs or he has like a 4 or 5 pound burger right now that you can divide up between people.
Is it every week?
For his specials,
Yeah.
it just depends on what's going on.
Okay.
So like he's always out and about. So like right now he has a 5 pound burger that can be split between 8 people or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And you just call it in a day in advance.
I feel like I would try. He should start a challenge. Like, can you eat the 5 pound burger or something?
We're working on it.
Okay, here you go.
So shout out Smoke Bayou. But there's so many great restaurants are always doing some kind of something, and you can cook at home, whatever. But my goal is always like when we're watching football games, like obviously your friends bring potluck and all that, but like go support a local restaurant. Go buy that side plate of green beans. Go buy, if you can't afford like to go do a rack of ribs or whatever, like find something that you can support your restaurants in. Our restaurants have been slower than ever, especially during the summer. Like it's just hot. Things are more expensive than ever. And so, a lot of the restaurants are kind of coming back up as like school's getting near and all that. But like show love to your restaurants this week during this fall during sports ball season. But, that's my favorite thing is getting with my friends in our house, watching the game, eating really good food, and just having a good time.
Heck yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you.
Thanks for coming to the Where to Go office.
Absolutely.
Hopefully next time we'll have our mural and stuff done.
Right.
But we'll have to have you back in like 6 months because, so much is going to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's
I'm
do
looking
it.
forward to it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Appreciate it. All right. Sending our love.
See you on the next one.
Deuces.